Federal legislation would penalize universities that fail to report their financial contributions from foreign adversaries such as China, Russia, and Iran. This is Monday, May 12, 2025.
Texas Scorecard presents the day's first news for the Lone Star State, the Texas Minute, with your host, Michael Quinn Sullivan.
Welcome back from the weekend. Thanks for spending part of your Monday with the Texas Minute. Let's jump right into the news. Senator John Cornyn has announced that the United States Department of Justice is launching a federal investigation into the East Plano Islamic Center and its proposed 402-acre Muslim development known as Epic City in Josephine, Texas. Last month, Cornyn sent a letter to U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi urging federal authorities to review the project amid concerns about religious discrimination, the potential application of Sharia law, and possible violations of federal law. A Democrat judge in Travis County has temporarily limited the scope of a Texas Lottery Commission rule banning ticket resale services. The order came at the request of Lotto.com's operator, LTC Texas LLC, which is a ticket reseller. Resellers are also known as couriers. These services allow customers to play the lottery online through an intermediary who buys the ticket at a brick-and-mortar store on their behalf. These illicit services have drawn scrutiny for existing outside the state laws governing the lottery. The companies are also connected to other shady activities. Texas Scorecard previously reported that Lotto.com, for example, has offered illicit scratch-off tickets on its website and engaged in questionable marketing strategies with AMC Theaters and Uber Technologies. Internal communications have found that former Texas Lottery Commission Executive Director Gary Grief had secretly recruited ticket resellers to operate in the state despite concerns over their legality. Legislation to restore the state attorney's general authority to prosecute election-related crimes passed the Texas House on Friday. Authored by Republican State Representative Matt Shaheen of Plano, the measure would allow the attorney general to step in and prosecute election law violations if a local prosecutor fails to act within 6 months of receiving a law enforcement report. The Senate had passed similar legislation last month. The measures came in response to the 2021 State v. Stevens decision by the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals, which held that the Attorney General didn't have independent authority to bring criminal charges under the Election Code. The ruling was widely condemned, including by Attorney General Ken Paxton and the two most recent Attorneys General, Greg Abbott and John Cornyn. Now, it's worth noting that 3 Court of Criminal Appeals judges who supported the decision and were up for re-election were defeated by Paxton-endorsed challengers back in 2024. The Texas Minute will be right back.
The Luke Macias Show is your access to what happens behind closed doors in Texas politics. Listen weekly to me, your host, Luke Macias, as I break down what is actually happening in conservative politics in the Lone Star State, a state that we all love and cherish. Listen weekly wherever you listen to podcasts. This show is a product of Texas Scorecard.
Federal legislation has been filed in the Senate by Ted Cruz and the U.S. House by Brandon Gill of Flower Mound to penalize universities that fail to report financial contributions from foreign adversaries such as China, Russia, and Iran. Cruz said these global adversaries expend a great deal of resources in an effort to, quote, control what Americans see, hear, and ultimately think. The proposed Foreign Influence, Transparency, and Accountability Act would apply a 300% excise tax on all funds institutions receive from designated countries of concern and a 110 excise tax on unreported funds by institutions that fail to disclose funding from any foreign entity. Universities with large endowments and a, quote, history of misconduct would receive audits every 2 years to ensure their compliance. You can find the details of this story and the others mentioned today and keep up with the latest news by visiting TexasScorecard.com. This edition of the Texas Minute was produced by Walker York and based on the original reporting of Luca Cacciatore, Brandon Walton, and Deborah McClure. If you're enjoying this daily podcast and find it useful, I hope you'll share it with your friends and encourage them to subscribe. I look forward to seeing you out around the Lone Star State. Have a great day.